Moscow sees significant rise in demand for Russian oil or gas amid Iran war. And Budapest detains Ukrainians amid $80 million cash seizure. Drone strikes in Nakhchivan prompt Azerbaijan to pull diplomats from Iran. And Messi faces backlash for applauding Trump's Iran war remarks at White House event. Good afternoon and welcome to the World of 30 Minutes on Politics and Business Television. I am Omiki Joseph Matthew. Many thanks for joining us. Details of these stories will come your way right after this short break. Thanks for staying with us. We'll begin this broadcast with the news that the government of Russia says the ongoing conflict between United States, Israel, and Iran has led to a sharp rise in global demand for Russian energy. This came a day after the United States Department of Treasury granted a 30-day waiver, allowing India to buy or to grant India a 30-day waiver allowing them to purchase Russian oil that is currently stranded at sea. The war, now in its seventh day, has severely disrupted shipping through the Straits of Hormuz, a key route for global energy supplies. The disruption has effectively blocked the movement of nearly one-fifth of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas, forcing many countries to search for alternative suppliers. Now, speaking to reporters, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Pedrov said Russia remains a dependable supplier of oil and gas through pipelines and liquefied shipments. However, he did not reveal how much oil Russia might supply to India following the U.S. waiver, which came after months of pressure from Washington urging India to stop buying Russian oil. Also, International Energy Agency Executive Director Fatih believed the war ended immediately. It could take weeks or months for Qatar to fully restore normal gas deliveries. He also warned that oil prices could reach $150 per barrel if ships and tankers are unable to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Energy markets are already reacting, with U.S. crude rising 4.1% to $84.36 per barrel, and Brent crude climbing to about $87 per barrel, near its highest level since April 2024. Authorities in Hungary have arrested 7 Ukrainians and seized 2 cash transport vehicles on suspicion of money laundering. The move came after Ukraine accused Hungary of unlawfully detaining the workers. According to Ucha Bank, the workers were transporting about $80 million in cash and 9 kg of gold between Austria and Ukraine when they were stopped. Hungary's no tax authorities said criminal investigations were underway and revealed that one of the detainees was a former general in Ukraine's intelligence service. Hungarian report said officers from the Counter-Terrorism Center raided the Ukrainian registered vehicle before escorting them to Budapest. The incident has further strained relations between the two countries, which have already been tense during the ongoing war involving Russia. The dispute is also linked to the halt of Russian oil supplies through the Druzhba pipeline passing through Ukraine. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has accused Ukraine of deliberately stopping the oil flow, while Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says the pipeline was damaged in a Russian airstrike. Zelensky also criticized Orban for blocking a €90 billion aid package from the European Union meant to support Ukraine. Azerbaijan has announced the withdrawal of its diplomatic staff from Iran after accusing Tehran of launching 4 drones into its enclave of Nakhchivan. According to Azerbaijani authorities, 1 drone struck an airport terminal, another exploded near a school and injured civilians, while a third was shot down. The incident raised fears that the wider Middle East conflict is spreading towards Iran's northern border. President Ilham Aliyev condemned the attack, calling it an act of terror and demanding an explanation and apology from Tehran. On Friday, he ordered the evacuation of staff from Azerbaijan's embassy in Tehran and its consulate in Tabriz for safety reasons, while the country's military was placed on maximum alert. Iran denied carrying out the drone strike and suggested the incident might have been a false flag operation by Israel. The situation is sensitive because Azerbaijan sits in a strategic region bordering Russia, Iran, Armenia, and Georgia, and the isolated territory of Nakhchivan lies close to Iran, Turkey, and Armenia, making it particularly vulnerable during conflicts. The dispute has also highlighted tensions over Iran's large ethnic Azerbaijani population. Aliyev said independent Azerbaijani represent hope for Azerbaijanis living in Iran, where an estimated 20 to 25 million ethnic Azeris live, mostly near the border. Tehran has long treated issues related to Azerbaijani identity as highly sensitive, fearing they could threaten national unity. A February 28 strike on an elementary school in Minab, southern Iran, reportedly killed at least 150 people, according to Iranian officials. The attack occurred near sites controlled by the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, and while neither the United States nor Israel has officially claimed responsibility. A New York Times investigation suggests U.S. forces were most likely involved. The U.S. Department of Defense has said it is investigating the incident. The Times investigation analyzed social media posts, photos, and videos from witnesses indicating that the Shajari Tayabi Elementary School was struck simultaneously with a nearby IRGC naval base. U.S. military statements and maps showing strikes in the area during the first 100 hours of operations further suggest U.S. involvement. Two unidentified U.S. officials told Reuters that investigators believe it is likely the U.S. carried out the strike, while General Dan Kane confirmed U.S. strikes along southern Iran during the period. Satellite imagery shows the school was once part of the IRGC's naval base, but public historical images indicate it had been converted into a functioning school with sports and recreational facilities. At the time of the attack, around 170 students were reportedly present. Human rights experts noted that U.S. intelligence capabilities should have identified the school, though the White House maintains it has no confirmation of U.S. involvement. You are still watching The World in 30 Minutes live on Politics and Business Television. Still to come, Messi faces backlash for applauding Trump's Iran war remarks at White House events. Stay with us. You're welcome back. Worshippers in Tehran and other Iranian cities gather for Friday prayers, the first since the US and Israel began bombing Iran a week ago. Many carried portraits of the assassinated supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and chanted anti-US and anti-Israel slogans, showing support for the government despite ongoing attacks. Videos and photos showed crowds of men and women, many dressed in black, gathering outside the Grand Mosque of Imam Khamenei in Tehran. Some mourned Khamenei openly, while others wept on prayer rugs. After prayers, worshippers also marched in demonstrations against the U.S.-Israel strikes. Similar gatherings were reported in cities like Iram, Burjad, and Zahedan. The prayers took place amid fresh U.S. and Israel strikes targeting military sites, political offices, and residential areas in Tehran, following threats from the U.S. that the bombardment would increase. To U.S. politics now, Texas Republican Congressman member Regina Santos Aviles who died by suicide last September. Gonzalez had previously denied the relationship, calling the allegations a form of blackmail and a coordinated effort to remove him from office. The decision came after top Republican leaders in Congress, including Speaker Mike Johnson, Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Majority Whip Tom Emmer, and Congresswoman Lisa McLean, publicly urged him to address the allegations and step down. The announcement also coincided with the House Ethics Committee opening an investigation into whether Gonzalez engaged in sexual misconduct towards an employee. Gonzalez, a married father of 6, told conservative podcaster Joe Baggs that Santos Aveli's tragic death was unrelated to their affair and that she had been thriving at work. Despite his statements, the situation has ended his bid for the party's nomination ahead of the midterm elections and sparked a broader ethical and political scrutiny. A sharp rise in jet fuel prices could increase airfares and even lead to flight cancellations ahead of the summer holidays, analysts warn. Disruptions to fuel supplies from the Gulf following U.S. and Israeli airstrikes on Iran have caused aviation kerosene prices to surge by more than 80%. The Gulf region provides about half of Europe's jet fuel, mostly transported through the Straits of Hormuz, which is now effectively closed. Wizz Air has already said the conflict could cut its annual profits by 50 million euros, largely due to higher fuel costs. Before the attacks, Northwest European jet fuel cost around $830 per ton, but prices have since jumped to over $1,500, the highest levels since 2022, after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Middle Eastern refineries play a critical role in global jet fuel supply. For example, Kuwait's Al Zoul refinery alone supplies roughly 10% of Europe's import. Fuel typically accounts for 20 to 40% of airline operating costs, although some carriers hedge their fuel purchases in advance to reduce the impact of price spikes. European carriers such as British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, EasyJet, and Ryanair are known to hedge a significant portion of their fuel needs, which could protect them from short-term increases. EasyJet said it is not currently affected, while Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary confirmed the airline is well hedged and low fares should remain stable. However, experts warn that physical fuel shortages could still disrupt operations despite financial hedges, pushing risk for airlines in the coming month. And to sport-related story, Lionel Messi has faced criticism after attending a White House event with his club Inter Miami, hosted by Donald Trump. The ceremony was meant to celebrate Inter Miami's Major League Soccer title win, but it became controversial when Trump spoke about the ongoing war with Iran during the event. Now, Trump praised Messi's success and his impact on American soccer, while the team stood behind him. During his remarks, the president also spoke about U.S. military actions with Israel against Iran, saying their forces were defeating the enemy. Messi and the players applauded after the speech, although the Argentine star did not make any comments during the ceremony. The applause sparked backlash on social media, with critics accusing Messi of allowing himself to be drawn into politics, applaud remarks about war, while others expressed disappointment that such influential figures did not speak out against the violence. And that wraps up the program. But before we go, the headlines once again. Moscow sees a significant rise in demand for Russian oil, gas amid Iran war. And Budapest detains Ukrainians amid $80 million cash seizure. And drone strikes in Nakhchivan prompt Azerbaijan to pull diplomats from Iran. And Messi faces backlash for applauding Trump's Iran war remarks at White House events. From me, Omike Joseph Matthew, to have a lovely day. Bye for now.